Hello and welcome to Sports Talk right here on Love 101, the family station. It is Saturday, March 4, 2023. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much again for joining me. It's the first Saturday in March. Feels like January and February gone pretty quick, don't? Well, at least here on Sports Talk, but hope that you will have a fantastic month. And we are starting the month here very, very strongly. World Championship silver medalist, Diamond League winner, Commonwealth Games champion, Pan American Games medalist, Fedrick Dacres will be joining the show, and we will talk to him about his objectives for the season, how he's overcome some injury setbacks because he's done quite a few surgeries over the last few years and hasn't been able to perform to his maximum. We'll also talk to him about some of his champs memories. Champs is just around the corner in another 3 weeks, and he was one of the champ stars at Calabar High. So we'll talk to him about that and even about volleyball. That's right, Frederick is a very good volleyballer. So we will hear about all that and more after the 1:15 break. Remember that you can interact with me and Frederick during the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them on our WhatsApp line, 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Send your messages in. And if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook on Love 101 FM's pages, you can leave it in the comments there and I will read them. All right. So don't be shy. Say what you need to say, and I will ensure that it will be read. By the way, you can listen to the show in several different ways. You can also watch the show, as I mentioned, on YouTube and Facebook on Love FM's pages. You can also download the Love 101 FM app in the Google Play or Apple Store, whichever smart device that you have. You can go on your internet browser, love101.org, or if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, just turn on your radio 101.1 all the way to 101.9 wherever you are on the island. And thank you to everyone. Sometimes I take it for granted that people overseas listen, you know, but we've had a few listeners who've messaged in saying that they're listening in from Canada and some from the UK. So to everybody in the US, UK, Canada, Europe, all across the Caribbean, wherever you're listening, thank you so much for giving me your time. It is truly appreciated. All right, so we're going to go into my monologue in the next few minutes, but first, let's start out with the sports bits, which is the mini sports report for the week. So let's start with track and field. Now, the winners of the high school corporate area championships will be decided later this afternoon at the National Stadium. Following Friday's day one, Kingston College led the boys' standings with 148. Jamaica College were second on 129 and Calabar on 115. On the girls' side, Wolmer's led with 131 points, 7 ahead of Excelsior with Immaculate third with 104. The standout individual performance on day one came from KC's Buwaji and Krumi, who clocked 10.32 seconds in a negative win to win the Class 1 100 meters. Meanwhile, Heidel, their girls were named Central Area Championships following a recount. Edwin Allen were initially crowned the champions for the 12th time in a row, but after a protest from Heidel coach Corey Bennett, a mistake was found and the revised point standings meant Heidel finished with 357.5 points and Edwin Allen with 357. Edwin Allen head coach Michael Dyke says, while disappointed, they will use it as motivation to win another girls' champs title later this month. St. Jago won the boys' title ahead of Edwin Allen and Clarendon College. Reggae Girls captain and Manchester City forward Khadija Bonishaw has signed a contract extension with apparel giants Nike. The 26-year-old signed with Nike back in 2019 and became the first Jamaican and Caribbean female footballer to sign with a global sports apparel company. Since then, she led Jamaica's Reggae Girls to qualification for a second consecutive FIFA Women's World Cup. Shaw is in her second season with Manchester City Women after winning the Golden Boot Award at Bordeaux in France. And after 13 games this season, she has scored 10 goals for Man City. Now, leaders Mount Pleasant and third place Cavalier will do battle in the marquee fixture of the Jamaica Premier League on Monday at 7:30 at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. In the early kickoff at 5, Portmore play relegation strugglers Chapelton Maroons. On Sunday, second placed Arnett Gardens tackle Mullines United. Fourth place Humble Iron entertain Montego Bay United. Waterhouse play Vere United. Dunby Holden face Tivoli, and Falkland host Harbour View. Arsenal produced a dramatic comeback to beat Bournemouth 3-2 to maintain their 5-point lead atop the English Premier League with 12 games to go in the season. Manchester City kept pace with a 1-0 win over Newcastle. Chelsea won their first game since early January with a 1-0 win over Leeds, while Tottenham's hot and cold season continued after going down 1-0 to Wolves. Other games saw Brighton whip West Ham 4-0 and Aston Villa beat Crystal Palace 1-0. Liverpool and Manchester United renew their rivalry on Sunday at Anfield at 11:30 a.m. Jamaica time. And finally, with some cricket, the West Indies will look to avoid a series defeat when they play South Africa in the second and final test on Wednesday. The Caribbean men struggled with the bat in the first test earlier this week and lost by 87 runs. Jamaican Jermaine Blackwood and Raymond Reefer were the only two Windies batsmen to make half centuries in the match, while Kemar Roach and Alzari Joseph impressed with 5-wicket innings. The second test bowls off at 3 a.m. Jamaica time on Wednesday. So that was your sports bits for this week, and it is now time for this.
Connection established. It's time for Daniel's weekly monologue.
I'm Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm Dave Blake.
I'm Hope Blake.
I'm David Blake.
And it's time for the Danielog.
The Daniel Log.
The Danielog.
The Daniel Log.
I will love it. And I think I deserve it.
By the way, Manchester City won 2-0. Pardon me. I said 1-0 earlier. So, remember back in school when you used to get certain grades and you were sort of unsure if this is what you were truly supposed to get? I remember that happened to me quite often. So, sometimes you'd get like a 70-something or a 60-something. And then you're like, this not right. Or you check your brethren paper or your sister paper and realize, say, hold on, but we'll put the same answer. So how you get it right and me get it wrong? And then you'd go to the teacher and they'd be like, oh, yeah, sorry about that. And then your grade automatically goes up, by maybe even 5-10% sometimes. And, those were like happy moments, because if you find out that you're going to get a fairly low grade and then you get more percentage, that was good. But I guess back then I never understood how teachers could make that type of mistake. It's only until like I'm mature enough to know that this teacher is probably teaching maybe 3 or 4 different classes, while I'm at home probably watching TV or enjoying myself playing outside or whatever. This teacher has to be marking dozens and dozens and dozens of papers, right? Because it's not easy. So sometimes they'll miss certain things, right? And they'll make a mistake, and it's understandable because they're under so much stress, right? Now, bring it to sports. As I mentioned in the sports bits, Edwin Allen thought that they were the Central Area champions. They did the trophy celebration, everything. And according to an article I read about the situation, Heidel coach Corey Bennett filed a protest saying that one of his athletes was wrongly given, I believe, fifth in a race when she actually finished third. He was saying that the officials mixed up that athlete with an athlete from St. Catherine High, and because they have similar colors, that could have led to the confusion. And after doing the investigation, it turned out to be right. And that's why Heidel were crowned the champion. So Heidel missed out on that initial moment of celebration, and Edwin Allen, after doing all that celebration, actually finishing second. There have been some critical comments laid towards the officials, and especially with, our officials have made mistakes in recent times, even as recently as last week, because at the Gibson relays, a lot of our women sprinters who were supposed to run 60 meters ended up running 70 meters because, they didn't measure the the track properly. So I believe 2 of the 3 heats, they actually ran 70 meters. Over the years, when we've watched like trials and other meets, there have been issues with the start of a lot of short sprints. There have been issues with hurdles, a whole bunch of things, right? And I want to say, even though I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending them, but we should understand that, they're humans too and they make mistakes. I know that it's high profile and these things shouldn't happen, but just like an athlete who false starts and will feel sorry for them, or when an athlete dropped the baton, sometimes these officials make mistakes. And I'm trying to be more open and more understanding, because even though a lot of people might say, well, they have one job, it's still a very high pressure job, right? Because as you see, one mistake and everybody can cuss you off. So hopefully going forward, whether it has to do with the points allocation, whether it has to do with the start, measuring the actual distance of races and all those things, hoping that the officials will get it right, but also that they are given some grace as well, and that, the athletes and the teams aren't punished for it, because in the end, we just want everything to be fair and square, and we just want a smooth track meet, a smooth track season, track and field season. And so all the officials who've made mistakes over the last few weeks, months, and maybe years, don't worry about it. Just try and get better, and let's have a great season. All right, so we are going into a break, and when we return, we hope to hear and see from the national discus throw record holder, Fedrick Dacres. So stay with us.
For all your Honda Ridgeline parts in Kingston, call 326-7371 or 821-5232 now. We sell genuine shocks, power steering pumps, engine mount, fender liner, strut mount, front end parts, engine parts, electrical switches and sensors, and many, many more. Remember, we are your Honda Ridgeline parts dealer located in Kingston. Contact us now at 326-7371 or 821-5232 for more details.
Kingdom Culture presents The Well Encounter with Maverick City's Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, Kevin Downswell, Carlene Davis, Rondell Positive, Rhoda Isabella. Tickets at SpurOpen.com/TWE22. Supermed Pharmacies, Sangster's Bookstore, 876-676-5953. Sponsored by Clear Sound Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Purity Chase Fund, Love 101, Race KFC. Part proceeds to Food for the Poor. The Well Encounter, Saturday, March 18th, Sabina Park, 6:30 p.m. Meet us at the Well. You're invited to listen to a recording of the dedicatory service of the launch of the St. James chapter and the new executive board of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance. The service was held on Sunday, February 26 at the St. Catherine Hall Holiness Christian Church in Montego Bay, with Chairman Reverend Glendon Powell. The speaker was Bishop Dr. Alvin Bailey, President of the JEA, and moderator was Pastor Claudia Ferguson, Vice President of the JEA, the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance, JEA. Listen for the recording on Sunday, March 5 at 4 p.m. That's the dedicatory service of the St. James chapter and the new executive board of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance. Listen Sunday, March 5 at 4 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
I've got love in my heart and
Hey, it's another time to move inside alive. 1 to 5, this Make Me Move Monday, March 6th. Get ready for the brain testing Bendicize at 1:45. Then at 2 o'clock, we ring in the prayer bells of heaven with our prayer blast feature. March is endometriosis month, and so at 2:15 inside Body Talk, consultant obstetrician Dr. Leo Walker will join us to explore this health condition. Then at 3:15 inside What Does the Bible Say, we look at the church, part 2, the body and bride. All this and more will come your way inside Alive. 1 to 5 is Make Me Move Monday with me, Sarah Ann, the chirpy one. It's Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. March 6th on the family station, Love 101.
got some praise. Give him praise. Give him praise. And he knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me.
Hey! Get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer. This Monday, March 6, 5:30 a.m. is Becoming You, a feature that shares tips on how to become the best version of who you are. Then, grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with Morning Coffee Pick Me Up Devotional at 6 a.m. 8:30 a.m. inside The Healthy Way, we discuss bunions, also known as hallux valgus. 9:30 a.m. is Something More, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. Stick and stay with us. This Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
So come get inspired with you.
Here's an invitation for churches and community organizations. If you're hosting an event which offers free admission, tell us about it and we'll get the word out in Love FM's bulletin board. Simply email your information to bulletinboard@love101.org. Love FM's bulletin board for church and community events with free admission and certain fundraising events. Conditions apply. Listen to Bulletin Board on Love 101 Saturdays at 4:55 p.m. Love FM's Bulletin Board is on your family station, Love 101.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on Love 101, the family station. Remember that you can interact with us right here during the show. 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That is our WhatsApp number. So feel free to leave your messages there. And if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can go in the comment section and leave those comments there as well. All right, so national discus throw record holder Fedrick Dacres will join us very shortly, just running a little bit late, but he will be here very shortly. So today is March 4, and as you know, it's track and field season is getting into full swing. As I mentioned at the National Stadium, there is the corporate area championships going on. At the end of day one, KC was leading the boys side, and on the girls side, the girls, Wilma's girls were leading. So if you are in the area by any chance, or if you want to watch some track and field and get a taste of what's to come at champs, there is no better way to do it than to go to the National Stadium and see some of the athletes. Champs happens at the end of the month. So that is, let me just be very specific with you so I don't get on the wrong date. So March 28th to April 1, that is champs. So by the way, I don't have no tickets to give anybody. I realize people always ask me, Daniel, do you have any tickets or champs? I'm not the ticket office. But what you can do from now, go to ISA's website and start buying those tickets. Tickets, I believe, are on sale. Don't wait until the week before, because know so the people in US and Canada don't buy them up already and plan to go. So if you are in Jamaica and you want to watch champs, and this will be the first champs since 2019 where the stadium can be filled to capacity. Remember, in 2020, there was no champs. Just weeks before, we had gotten the first confirmed case of COVID. So no champs was possible. And then in 2021, champs went ahead, but there were no fans allowed inside. It felt really weird for those who covered champs and watched it on TV and online. And then last year, remember, COVID was still going on basically at the start of the year. So I think the stadium was allowed to be filled to, I think, 50% capacity. So it wasn't full. So this year, 2023, it can be filled pack. So remember to get your tickets from now. Do not wait, and you truly don't want to wait, because you will regret it. KC looking to add to their championships. Calabar, JC, they have a lot to say about it. Edwin Allen, Hydel, Homewood on the girls' side. It's truly going to be a spectacular championships. Last year was great, and we expect this year to be great as well. So remember to keep following high school track and field. All right. So as I mentioned as well, the English Premier League is reaching it's closer to its climax. Arsenal today, they came from 2-0 down against Bournemouth. Being an Arsenal fan, you know, sometimes if you don't have proper health insurance, just don't bother support them. They scored, Bournemouth scored inside the first 10 seconds, the second fastest goal in English Premier League history. And then they went 2-0 up, but Arsenal came back to go 3-2. So they remain top of the table, clear of Manchester City on 5 points. And then tomorrow, for the Manchester United fans, last week Sunday, by the way, because we didn't really get to talk about it because the final was last Sunday of the Carabao Cup. Manchester United winning their first title since 2017. So congrats to all the United fans. But when I say no want more trophies, I don't think the English Premier League is going to be for you. But they've certainly made progress, and they play a struggling Liverpool team who right now are 6th in the table, so they aren't in the running for the title, but they're hoping to break into that top 4. So tomorrow's game starts at 11:30. So for those who have early church and can go home, do that. If you can't miss church, then that's fine. You can watch back the game on any one of the apps that you usually watch the Premier League on. So certainly exciting. All right, so we're going to go into another break, and when we come back, we will hopefully hear from Fedrick Dacres. So stay with us.
The Gospel International presents The Gospel 2023, Breaking Barriers, with Orville Sutherland, Petra K, Jai Kingston, Gotti, Michael Malachi, Prince Saj, Sadra Madonna Lindsay, Ryan Davis, 2,000 pre-sold, 3,000 at the gate, high schoolers 1,000, children 10 and under free. Tickets at Murray's Jerk Hut, Tate's Pharmacy, and Gibson's Petroleum. MCs Shannon Dale and Nadine Blair. The Gospel 2023, Saturday, March 4 at 7 p.m. at the Denby Showground. Gates open 5 p.m.
For all your funeral service needs, visit House of Light, located at 23 Old Market Street, shop number 10, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, and 800 Arrow Road, Unit 7, Toronto, Canada. We provide caskets, hearse, chariots, programs, buttons, t-shirts. Call us locally at 876-202-6540 or 876-859-7264. Internationally at 647-293-1823. Email us at houseoflightfuneralhome@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley.
I'm Jakal.
I'm Victor.
I'm Chantel.
And we are
The Pulse Podcast.
You can find us every Saturday at 7 p.m. on Love 101 FM JA's YouTube channel.
Yes, 7 to 8 p.m. And ensure you follow us on social media, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at The Pulse Podcast JA.
The Pulse Podcast, your weekly source of authentic, Jamaican, faith-based, creative content and edutainment.
About culture, creative expressions, and games.
Kingdom Culture presents The Well Encounter with Maverick City's Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, Kevin Downswell, Harleen Davis, Rondell Positive, Rhoda Isabella. Tickets at SparOpen.com/TWE22. Supermed Pharmacies, Sangster's Bookstore, 876-676-5953. Sponsored by Clear Sound, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Purity Chase Fund, Love 101, Race KFC. Part proceeds to Food for the Poor. The Well Encounter, Saturday, March 18th, Sabina Park, 6:30 p.m. Meet us at the Well.
Parts in Kingston, call 326-7371 or 821-5232 now. We sell genuine shocks, power steering pumps, engine mount, fender liner, strut mount, front end parts, engine parts, electrical switches and sensors, and many, many more. Remember, we are your Honda Ridgeline parts dealer located in Kingston. Contact us now at 326-7371 or 821-5232 for more details.
Faithful Homes Decor is the best home decor store in Jamaica with the most unique pieces and excellent customer service that cultivates an atmosphere of home away from home. Visit us at 20 Concert Spring Road, Mall Plaza, Halfway Tree, at shops 15 to 16U and 17 to 18U upstairs. Call us at 876-648-6566 or 861-4252. Faithful Homes Decor, providing elegance and comfort.
And he knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me.
You're invited to listen to a recording of the dedicatory service of the launch of the St. James chapter and the new executive board of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance. The service was held on Sunday, February 26 at the St. Holiness Christian Church in Montego Bay, with Chairman Reverend Glendon Powell. The speaker was Bishop Dr. Alvin Bailey, President of the JEA, and moderator was Pastor Claudia Ferguson, Vice President of the JEA. The Jamaica Evangelical Alliance, JEA. Listen for the recording on Sunday, March 5 at 4 p.m. That's the dedicatory service of the St. James chapter and the new executive board of the Jamaica Evangelical Alliance. Listen Sunday, March 5 at 4 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
I've got love in my heart and
Hey, it's another time to move inside alive. 1 to 5, this Make Me Move Monday, March 6th. Get ready for the brain testing when decides at 1:45. Then at 2 o'clock, we ring in the prayer bells of heaven with a prayer blast feature. March is endometriosis month, and so at 2:15 inside Body Talk, consultant obstetrician Dr. Leo Walker will join us to explore this health condition. Then at 3:15 inside What Does the Bible Say, we look at the church, part 2, the body and bride. All this and more will come your way inside Alive. 1 to 5 is Make Me Move Monday with me, Sarah Ann, the chirpy one. It's Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. March 6th on the family station, Love 101.
give him praise, give him praise.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101, the family station. Unfortunately, Fedrick hasn't arrived as yet. As you all know, sometimes life happens. So he is on his way. He's really trying to make it. Unfortunately, things go sometimes. So still hoping to hear from Fedrick before the show ends. But Fedrick's coach, Julian Robinson, one of the best field event coaches and just one of the best track and field coaches in Jamaica over the years. He has developed Fedrick and now Travis Michael and has produced some world-class athletes. Around 10 11 years ago, when throwing wasn't a very popular thing here in Jamaica, and he was really trying to get it going. He spoke about a lot of issues, which we want to, talk to Fedrick about if some of those issues have changed and those things. So this is an interview that Coach Robinson did about 10 years ago, in a time when it was really, really rough for a lot of Jamaican throwers and field athletes in general. So this was done 10 years ago, pardon me, with Track Alert. So let's hear what he had to say about how throwing and field events were treated at the time.
The ones that come readily to mind are the lack of implements. Implements are not durable and they're expensive, so they get destroyed quickly. We have to replace them. We don't have the money to replace them, so we have to improvise. Sometimes we don't have access to the gym, and of course that hampers our preparation. So, but the lack of implements, also having to find throwing shoes, are some of the main challenges that we have had over the period.
And of course, to produce a work well. First, last year he won the World Youth title. Now he won the World Junior title. To produce champion like this, and of course you'd have won bronze, first medal in a throwing event with Travis Michael. Just tell us about Dacres himself, though, and some of the things that you would have implemented this year, probably you would have changed from last year, just to get him to come here and win.
Well, firstly, Fedrick is a fighter, and he's brave, he's fearless. I like that about him. God has also given him talent, and even though he has a talent, he still works very hard. Coming out of World Youth, his technique was not the best, so we had to make some modifications for him to be competitive with the older guys. In the discus field, he and a few others were younger than most of the field. He is 18, while there are some guys, a lot of the guys in the field are 19. So relatively he's younger, and for us to medal at this level, we had to ensure that his technique was up to a certain standard, and also his strength level. So those were some of the things that we had to focus on in 2012, getting the strength level up and having an efficient technique to compete against older guys.
Having said that, were you any at all surprised when he won yesterday?
As I said previously, I believe the top 5 persons in the world had a chance to win. Even though Fedrick was not ranked number 1, his PB was comparable to the leader. So I believe that he had a chance, and if he went out there and got a good start and executed properly, I believe that he would medal. I wasn't thinking about what color medal. I just wanted him to medal. That was my aim. I believe that he could win, but at the same time, I would not say that he had an advantage over anybody else, because he's younger, and the top 5 persons are more or less throwing the same distances. So it would come down to the person who has the composure, who wants it the most. That person would win, and thank God it was Fedrick.
You spoke of some of the challenges you face as a coach and for your athletes in the shot put and the discus. How would you appeal to Jamaicans to come on board, not only to support your program alone, but to support the throwing program overall in Jamaica?
Well, all right. Throwing requires funds. Some of the implements, for example, the javelin, cannot be obtained at certain times in Jamaica. It would be good if if some equipment manufacturer could donate a large number of equipment to schools. Also, weights. Throwers need to lift weights, and weightlifting equipment is expensive. If the government could donate or subsidize equipment for high schools, I feel that would go a far way. Also, nutrition. You can't train if you don't have food. And many times youngsters come to training and they don't have food. And coaches like myself have to dip in our pockets and give them money to buy food. So if somebody in the private sector or wherever could maybe partner with the J3s or whosoever to assist coaches like myself to help the nutritional demands of the athlete, to get weightlifting equipment at a lower price, get throwing equipment at a lower price. This would go a far way in helping the development of the sport.
How far do you see throwing in Jamaica go? How far do you see it going?
Well, my goal is to medal at the Olympics and World Championship. There is a plan for Travis to do that. Maybe not this Olympics, but I believe that he has what it takes to medal in the next 2 or 3 years. And while I'm working on Travis, I'll be working on others like Fedrick, because I believe that Jamaicans have what it takes to not only sprint, but to run middle distance as well, to throw very well. And for my part, I want to ensure that I want to play my part in helping Jamaica have a presence on the international throwing scene.
So that was Coach Julian Robinson over 10 years ago, talking about some of the challenges that he faced while coaching with Fedrick and Travis. And as you heard him say, within the next 10, 11 years that, he hopes, he hoped that he would get a medal at a major championship. And he did, because in 2019, Fedrick Dacres winning the silver medal back, as I mentioned, in 2019. And as you know, Fedrick should have been here in studio, but unfortunately some things happened, and, he is, very apologetic. So, but why not have Fedrick talk about some of the things that you just heard and the progress that the throwers have made? Fedrick Dacres, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Sorry about the whole situation.
No, man, you're good. You're good. Because we know where to find you. So we heard from Coach Robinson in an interview that was done around 10 years ago about the lack of implementation of certain things and the respect given to throwers and so forth. In those 10 years since, 10, 11 years since, have you seen any major difference? Do you feel like more is given to throwers and field athletes in general, or do you think that a lot more is still needed?
To be honest, a lot more is needed, man. Actually, all right. You remember what saying that Dr. Jacka said we're not level?
Yes.
That is exactly the world we live in. Mentally, if you were in let's say Europe, God's amongst men, right? That's the energy. But in Jamaica now we're mainly about the streets. Although we do get help, I would never say that we don't get help. And based on the work that we did, we have opened the eyes of Jamaicans and people understand that throwing is real and throwers can actually do the work and actually get medals. So definitely there has been support here, but I think they don't know how to support us, if you know what I mean. And to be honest, that's one of the reasons why I chose to be in getting programs like the director of JJs, because I am a director of the JJs, so I can influence policies and all when it comes down to like throws and jumps. Just help out the non-traditional sport.
Coach Robinson mentioned that at times it was discouraging, and I've spoken and heard from him since then. How did he continue to motivate you and even you to him during this very long process? Because when you don't get the support you think you deserve, you're more often likely to quit than to continue. So how have you been able to continue the journey?
Let me tell you what. It's the relationship between like coach and athlete. Believe me, you have to buy the dream, and that's it. From we were like kids, like I started doing and thinking, going into fifth form. So I never really had any long time like like the Europeans or even like some of the guys out here. But the thing is that I believe what Sir told me. Like I believe I was a soldier. You know what I mean? So like anything that he said, okay, cool, Banji, this is the aim for this year. This is whatever. As a as a soldier, I just followed orders. But like you have to believe it. Like that's it. You just have to believe, even when nobody else don't believe. There's a saying that like the same people who laughed at you will be the same people who are telling their spouse and grandchildren how they met you. I legit lived that dream. If you know what I mean. So, and you have to take your time and build on what you have. Enjoy the small blessings. Celebrate the small wins. The thing is that if you legit think mainstream and all of that, you'll get discouraged. If you think that people will help you out and give you a help, nothing like that. Do it yourself. Just live with that mentality and just work and believe me, it all gets better. But Jamaica has been doing great in the throws. Like recently, I think in the NJCAA, that's like a division in the States, they had like about 8 Jamaicans in the finals. 8 Jamaicans from 8 different schools. So that means that, those are being pushed elsewhere. So definitely, we've been discouraged, but we don't want to know it. We just work. That's just it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the throws have improved greatly over the last few years. Travis Michael now throwing at an elite level, and you have guys like Chad Wright, Kai Chang, Roger Stone are coming up, and as you mentioned, a lot of our youngsters in America doing very well. How pleased are you to see our throwers getting to this level, and do you think that we can go on a run where we'll be able to medal at a major championships every year for maybe the next 4 or 5 years, that type of thing?
Most definitely. I don't think we have to buy into the dream though. Like we definitely buy into the dream. Based on everything, like trials last year, you had like about I think 4 or 5 guys throwing over 65 meters. 65 meters elite level. Right? 5 Jamaicans. So trials are easy again, you know what I mean? You can't just walk in a trials and be all as well. So we have to compete. So that shows that, the depth of talent in Jamaica is deep, if you know what I mean. So like I am just happy. I am genuinely happy that, things are being done, and we're up to the dream will come true. So I can retire in peace, if you know what I mean. I know that, in a few years, me can't watch and say, I used to beat them boy there, that type of energy, like the feel good energy. But yeah, I definitely feel that Jamaica is gonna do it eventually, and we do have the talent pool to do so.
Yeah, over the last few years, one of the things that you have personally went through, you've gotten a lot of injuries. You've done, I believe, maybe 5 or 6 surgeries. How difficult has this process been, and where are you now in 2023 in terms of health and fitness level?
All right, I'm good now. I think I've been through a lot of surgeries and all that, but I think my hardest surgery was definitely the hand, like to get back from that. Normally it's always the knees, like my knees and all of that, but I always found it back up. But this time, this was a challenge. But I feel good, no injuries. I can talk about right now. just some small niggles, nothing to really talk about, nothing to stop my trading or pause me. But we do have our problems. But definitely, the surgeries and all that, the injuries, it played into it's done its damage, if you know what I mean. So right now, this year, we're just focusing on staying injury free and just do the work. We'll have work to do that.
Is there I know that you obviously go into every event wanting to win, but is there any specific goal that you're aiming for this
I
year?
want to win. I want to win. That's it. I want to win. That's really it. That's always been the aim, to be better than I was yesterday. I'm always looking out to win, but if I get a PR, if I get a big match, if I do well, if I even surprise myself, I'll take that as a win and it'll be like that. But definitely the main goal for the day is definitely to win, and I feel like we can win.
Yeah, over the last 2 years, we've seen the likes of Christian Shea and Daniel Stahl and Peterson, those guys throwing above 69 with ease. Do you believe that you can break up their little rivalry that has been going on over the last few years?
Most definitely, I definitely feel like that. I just need to be injury free. That's it. If I can get an injury free year, we can do some damage.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, really, really hoping so, because after 2019, everyone thought that you would get to that number one mark. You and Stahl, were going head to head for a long time. I'm wondering if, during that time, you got advice from a lot of the overseas guys, because I know that your circle there is very close, even though you're competing. Did you get advice from them on how to recover and get back to that place where you can challenge them consistently?
Not really how to recover, but encouraging words you'll make it back, that type of energy, because they all know that I have surgery issues. You know what I mean? I'm so into, bro. I never realized I was clumsy until my coach said it. And man, I said, me clumsy? Baffling to me. But then I realized, yeah, man, boy, you can't hurt yourself enough, man. So, that's what I realized. And, no, man, I'm probably clumsy for real. But, no, the guys abroad, they check up on me and say, hoping to see you back on the circuit and all of that. You just take it and say, all right, cool. They expect you back. So let's get back.
Yeah. So we have a whole lot to talk about, which we will do very soon. But just to close with this, as we've been talking about, Champs is just around the corner. A lot of the meets and so forth have been going on, and a lot of young promising discus throwers are out there. For somebody who went through it at the very top level, at Calabar, what advice would you give to them as they prepare to go into the major championships at the end of the month?
I definitely said, don't worry about the night. Definitely, don't worry about the night at all. Because what will happen eventually, you're going to realize the sprinters getting sponsored. Whoever getting sponsored, don't watch that. Just work. I'm giving them advice for the future in terms of what they'll see. I never got this advice. I was just told some of the small things, people blah 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 blah. But no, man, don't watch people. Comparison is the killer of dreams. Just work, tunnel vision, and you'll get there.
Great advice from one of the best. Fedrick, we hope to have you in studio very soon.
Yeah. I'll be there next week, man.
Yeah. So everybody, you heard it. Fedrick will be here next week. We have so much more to talk about. So, Fedrick, thank you for the time.
Did you think I'm now a national volleyball as well?
Yeah, man. We talk about the volleyball next week. We don't want to give them everything. So next week when you're forward, we talk about the volleyball, everything.
Yeah, man. All right, bye, bro.
All right, Fedrick, take care.
All right, later.
So that is national discus throw record holder Fedrick Dacres, world champ, silver medalist, Commonwealth, Pan American Games, Diamond League winner, everything. And next week, you'll hear a lot about his volleyball exploits. You know, sometimes life happens, and he unfortunately tried to get here on time, but some things happen. But as you heard, he promises to be here next week. So we will do a full-length interview next week. We'll talk about some things more in depth. So thank you to Fedrick for coming on and apologizing and even speaking for a few minutes. So we have a few more minutes left to go in the show. Thank you to this is Uncle Dave Children Ministries, Ariel, saying great program, commendable effort week after week. Natalie sending him in her greeting, pardon me. Pauline also sending in her greetings as well. Remember, there are a lot of sporting events for you to do this weekend, so you don't have any excuse if you want to go and watch things. As I mentioned, the corporate area championships is happening right now at the National Stadium, so feel free to go out and support the athletes there. Just the Kingston schools will be there. That's what it's called, the corporate area championship. The Central Area Championships happened earlier this week. The Western champs also went by, and we're getting down to that last stretch when we will see all the schools compete at the National Stadium for the ISA Boys and Girls Athletics Championship. So you can go down to the stadium and watch that. There is football happening this weekend as well. There's a Women's Premier League happening today with several matches. On Sunday, there is the Men's Premier League happening all around the island as well, and even on Monday at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex, including that great clash with Mount Pleasant and Cavalier at 7:30. So you don't want to miss that. So a lot of sports going on, so you really have no excuse at all. So thank you as always for everyone who tuned in to Sports Talk this weekend. Truly appreciate your time. I know it's maybe not what you expected, but as I said a little earlier, Fedrick is coming back next week. He'll be here in studio. You can ask him anything you want, and we will ensure that it is done and done well. So thank you for your support. It means a lot. And always remember that Sports Talk happens every Saturday, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101. Please stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and as always, watch some sports. Till next week.